life. Communication is life. Without it, we are dead to all. Since the ARC triangle was first discovered in July 1950. The ARC triangle has 3 related points. The first of these points is affinity. I'll get into what these are a bit later. The second of these points is reality. The third of these points, and the most important, is communication. These 3 factors are related by affinity. We mean emotional response. We mean the feeling of affection or lack of it, or of emotion or misemotion connected with life. Now, when I say misemotion, I mean that an emotion that is irrational to the present environment. So, if someone grants you €1 million and you become angry or sad for that matter, and not when I say sad, not tears of joy, but you're actually in grief about this and you're crying. Your heart is broken because you just won €1 million. That would be a misemotion because you should be happy about the fact that you just won €1 million. So that would be misemotion. So, by affinity, we mean emotional response. We mean the feeling of affection or lack of it, or of emotion or misemotion connected with life. By reality, we mean the solid objects, the real things of life. This podium, this microphone, this book, me, I'm real. These are all things that are very real. By communication, we mean an interchange of ideas between 2 terminals. Now, a terminal would be something that receives and or relays a communication from one point to another. So, for instance, when you go to get your fast food, you go through the drive-thru. There's normally a voice box that you talk to. That voice box relays your order to a lady or a man that's inside taking the order. They receive it and they jot you down and you get your food. That's a terminal relaying to another terminal that is receiving. Now you understand terminals. So without affinity, there is no reality or communication. Without reality, there is no affinity or communication. Without communication, there is neither affinity nor reality. Now, these are sweeping statements, but are nevertheless very valuable and are true. For instance, have you ever seen someone who is sporting your favorite team's jersey or cap or any other paraphernalia? You instantly had reality with that person. Now, did your affinity increase for that person? Did your emotional response to that person increase? Were you more willing to talk to that person about that team that you both favor? Have you ever tried to talk to an angry man? An angry man's communication is at a level of misemotion which repels all terminals from him. Therefore, his communication factor is very low, even though very loud. He is attempting to destroy something or some other terminal, therefore his reality is very poor. Very likely what he is being angry about apparently is not what made him mad. An angry man is not truthful. Thus, it could be said that his reality, even on the subject he is attempting to voice, is poor. There must be good affinity, which is to say, affection, between 2 people before they are very real to each other. And reality must be used as a gradient, with some things being more real than other things. For instance, the sports team. That is a gradient step to becoming more and more real. There must be good affinity between 2 people before they can talk together with any truth or confidence. Before 2 people can be real to each other, there must be some communication between them. They must at least see each other, which is in itself a form of communication. Before 2 people can feel any affinity for each other, they must, to some degree, be real. You cannot talk to someone who is not there. Yes, maybe via social media, but they are there at some end of the point. If someone is not standing in front of you and you say hello, there's no one there, nobody's going to answer. So, in order for you to have communication with someone, they must be there, they must be real, you must have some reality with that person, and there must be some type of emotional response there. These three terms are interdependent, one upon the other. And when one drops, the other two drop also. When one rises, the other two rise also. It is only necessary to improve one corner of this very valuable triangle in order to improve the others. It is only necessary to improve two corners of the triangle to improve the third. Probably the reason why the ARC triangle went so long undiscovered was that the fact that a person in apathy, which is someone who has no emotional response to life or anything for that matter. Communication, no. Reality, no. Affinity, nothing. They're just kind of there. They exist. That's what someone who's in apathy would be. They rise through various tones. These tones are quite uniform. One follows the next, and people always come up through these tones, one after the other. These are the tones of affinity. And the tone scale of Dianetics and Scientology is probably the best possible way of predicting what is going to happen next or what a person will actually do. This is a scale that plots the emotional tones of a person, the emotional states a person goes through. Estimation of the quality or ability of a person is at once established by his tone. Tone is established by his ARC. There is a book entitled Science of Survival, which is completely devoted to this subject. Actually, tone is established by a person's affinity and reality. It is most directly observed by his communication. One easy, quick way to ascertain a person's tone would be as follows. What does he try to do to your ARC? If he discovers something with which you have good ARC, does he attempt to increase or decrease your communication with it? So if you have a friend who knows that you like painting, but every time you come around this person, they're talking very negatively about painting. They think art is stupid, and they're just bad, 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 bad. Painting, 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 bad, 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 bad. Is this person trying to increase your communication with painting? Or are they trying to decrease your communication with painting? And also the other way around. Someone who's showing you different new things that have been achieved or accomplished through painting, or telling you about new techniques in which can be done with painting. Would this person be trying to improve your communication with painting or decrease your communication with painting? You should use your personal integrity and observe that for yourself. Decreasing one's communication with something can be done in two ways with the same end result. He or she insists on communication with hurtful things so that one will know better than to communicate, as a nation does with youth with war. Or the communication is cut direct. Lower affinity with things and communication is cut. Raise affinity with things and communication is improved. An example of this would be a contrast between the end results achieved by 1. A parent who warns a child about things, and 2. A parent who lets the child get acquainted with things. The child handled the first way will go awry. The child handled the second way will become the better child. Warns the child about things could be expressed as lowers the affinity about reality. One determines then the actual character of a person by observing his intent concerning communication. If a person wants communication to be knowingly raised, and all good communication is knowing communication, his intent to another is good. If a person wants communication to be unknowing or lowered, his intent to another is bad. Communication is the clue that is always in sight. By it, one sees the true affinity and reality of the person. When another tries to chop your ARC with something, it's a good thing to decoy him into believing you have ARC with something else, and see how he handles that. He, by cutting away, seeks to make you a victim of his game. It becomes an amusing game when you fully understand ARC. The difference will be, you'll be playing a knowing game, and he will just be dramatizing, which is meant by acting under the influence of past incidents, puppet-like. Many a budding Scientologist has been squelched by someone chopping his ARC with Scientology, when in actuality, it was merely someone chopping his ARC. Communication is the clue. If you can handle communication, in or out, you can win. For more information about communication and the various tones, read Sounds for Survival. It will help you improve your communication and better understand others. In fact, the wisdom contained in that book will provide you with methods to improve every aspect of your life. Now, how can you use personal integrity and with communication as life? These things go hand in hand, and I hope that you will try to improve your affinity, your communication, or your reality with someone that you're close to, or to mend a relationship that has been broken. All you have to do is improve one to improve the other two. Now, on to the announcements. The days have been beautiful, and with that, there are a lot of picnics, and people are out and communicating as they should. But there is something that our volunteers saw that was needed to be done, and that was a cleanup. A few volunteers went out yesterday and cleaned up 6 bags of rubbish and a lawnmower from the River Daughter right behind us. Fair play to them. Now, remember that you too can safeguard and improve your immediate surroundings. Why wait for someone else to do it when you can? Tuesday, the Vincent Kelly will be delivering a webinar entitled The Key to Self-Esteem. So if you or someone you know is dealing with not feeling like their best self or is regularly making less of themselves when you know that they are truly a diamond in the rough, then bring them to the webinar Tuesday at 8 p.m. The Stephen Leeson Show every Friday will be hosted every Friday at 7 p.m., having a special guest each week and live entertainment and an interview with the guest. If you would like to view this, you can find it here on this page at 7 p.m. Friday. Now, for next Sunday, It Takes Two to Tango, waltz, salsa, as well as most other dances. And also, it takes two to communicate. So, next Sunday we'll be going into how communication takes place between two people. What are the things that happen that make communication fail between two people? And what are the things that are necessary to be there between two people to make communication successful? So, next Sunday, I hope that you tune in at 11 o'clock. And now, we will be going into the prayer for the Church of Scientology, the prayer for total freedom. And this will be a video played so that you may be able to read along with me as we go through the prayer for total freedom. May the author of the universe enable all men to reach an understanding of their spiritual nature. May awareness and understanding of life expand so that all may come to know the author of the universe. And may others also reach this understanding which brings total freedom. At this time, we think of those whose liberty is threatened, of those who have suffered imprisonment for their beliefs, of those who are enslaved or martyred, and for all those who are brutalized, trapped, or attacked. We pray that human rights will be preserved so that all people may believe and worship freely, so that freedom will once again be seen in our land. Freedom from war and poverty and want. Freedom to be, freedom to do, and freedom to have. Freedom to use and understand man's potential, a potential that is God-given and God-like. And freedom to achieve that understanding and awareness that is total freedom. May God let it be so. Thank you for coming to Sunday service this week. I hope to see you next week, and I would like for you to use communication as life and also personal integrity to make your week the best week yet. See you next Sunday.
amongst you and follow them. Your leaders and your holy men revere their word, their order and their skill already won. I will not bless your studies if you do not have peace and permission from your leaders. I confirm their authority, their customs and their laws, and change them not unless they wish themselves to change. Your leaders are your staffs and guides, all titles that they have, and all their holdings, these are theirs in the possession of their orders. For this is no revolt, no revolution for the malcontent we follow, newly taught in a path so old it starts with time, which has no end or start.